Hello, YouTube. Long time no see. Active Asshole on Roids here with another glorious rant. This one's off the top of my head. It's been a long time. I thought I'd just go ahead and make a video because I've been out of the loop for so long. I mean, things have been hectic at work. I've probably had like 3 days off in the past 2 months. It's crazy, man. I'm working 7 days a week, 60 hours a week average, sometimes more. Um, I haven't really had a lot of time to sit down and make good content or even bad content for that matter. And I think this video is going to be bad content, but I don't know. I just watched a video. I just watched a video from the David Pakman show uh, about the Koch brothers gearing up for another shot at Obamacare. And again, I don't know how many times my friend Michael Thackett, and a whole list of other activists, a whole lot of other activists. I don't see how many times we have to hit on the whole Obamacare is not socialism. I mean, it was developed in the Heritage Foundation by the Friedmanites, by the conservative movement in the United States. As an answer, as their answer to the Clinton healthcare reform proposals from the 90s. So to the conservatives, the conservatives, they really love to disown something as soon as a Democrat tries it. Something I've noticed about them is that they're for it until they're against it. They're for it until you're doing it, and then they want to turn the other direction. You know, I'm maybe there's a way to make that reverse psychology work for us. Maybe if I started being a hardcore libertarian again, every other libertarian would say, "Oh, look, he's doing it. We better go left and become socialists." Just a thought. I don't know. Uh, but then again, the mindless, tailless monkeys, freaking apes with automatic weapons. That's all they are, and baseball caps. And yes, I just made dehumanizing remarks about libertarians. I don't give a shit. Because as far as I'm concerned, if if you don't believe healthcare is a human right, even though it's something you need to live, then you have no fucking morals and you're inhuman to me. So I don't give a flying fuck. And that's my answer to libertarians. I don't give a rat's ass if you hide behind the whole selfishness is a virtue bullshit. That's not an argument for that's not an argument against healthcare being a human right. Uh, Oxygen. By that logic, if healthcare is not a human right, by that logic, you have no right to breathe the oxygen in the air. So, yeah, good luck with that one. I say this all the time to libertarians, and it never seems to get to that thick skull of theirs. If you need something to stay alive, if it involves public health and safety, hell, even Margaret Thatcher back in her day wouldn't touch the British national healthcare system, even though she was privatizing a lot of things, citing that, hey, costs would go up if the healthcare system in Britain were privatized and yada yada. They again, uh, conservatives and libertarians in the United States so far out there that even the rightists in other parts of the world look like sane liberals by extension. So again, to the libertarian crowd, I'm not sure if I even decide. I don't even think I had a topic before I made this video that I wanted to address. It's just the whole, hey, here I am, I'm still alive. Uh, but I promise all of you, that I will start making uh, videos on a more regular basis as soon as I manage to get moved into a new apartment. In another month, I'm going to start moving into an apartment I recently put a deposit down on. So, but I have to wait. It's still occupied. I have to wait until the current residents move out and they get the place cleaned up before I can even get the keys so I can move in. So I can't. The other reason I haven't made too many videos since I've moved into this place, for the past 10 months I've been renting out a room for $300 a month in a trailer just to keep costs of living down while I try to pay off all my health care bills from when I went to the emergency room back in February of 2012. And I lost my job because I just couldn't get my work, my place of employment, the insurance through my place of employment when I was working car manufacturing to pay for my health care bills. I had to pay for everything out of pocket. I couldn't get any help, so I couldn't get the doctors. They wouldn't even look at me. They'd put a bandit on the ass and a boot out the door. I couldn't get any help, and we have a very shitty company doctor in this area that everyone likes to use simply because he will send you back to the line regardless of how badly injured you are. And it's just so the company that he works for can keep their insurance premiums low. So again, I just think it's funny. Conservatives like to talk about, and libertarians, I like to talk about waiting periods when they talk about universal health care and all that. And I'm just like, hey, dude, we got triage here in city clinics in our own country, for crying out loud. You can't use that as a fucking argument when it's found in both privatized and public systems, because at least you get to go to the doctor in every other first world nation. You don't get to go to the doctor if you can't afford it, and without incurring a massive fucking cost, to yourself, and losing your life savings, or ruining your credit, and being stuck with a bill. Sorry, I'm also a little hungry. I'm eating beef jerky over here. Getting tired of living in this place because there's cockroaches everywhere. They're eating on me in my sleep. It's disgusting. I'm tired of this shit. We've had an exterminator come out here every single fucking day. Well, sorry, not every day, but every single fucking month. Spraying these little bastards, and it doesn't matter. They're mutants. They don't die. They don't die. It's like we're surrounded by pine trees everywhere. So these things go out and breed outside, and then they just come back in and repopulate in here after the poisons have gone down. So there's no getting rid of them. And one of many reasons why I'm trying to get out of this place, aside from the fact that I'm having some issues with my roommate involving us having different sleeping schedules. And I work from 4 p.m. to 12 at night, and sometimes all the way up to 4 and 8 in the morning, depending on whether they need me to stay over, which a lot of times they do. So I try to come in. That's another reason why I haven't made very many videos, is because by the time I get in, he's already asleep. I'm waking his ass up every time I try to make a good video, because I'm making too much fucking noise for him, because he wakes up if the door creaks open when you're trying to come in. There's no way you can actually enjoy yourself. I can't cook. I can't do shit in here. I'm having to eat out all the fucking time, and it's expensive as hell. I mean, I'd rather pay higher rent living somewhere else and have a whole apartment to myself and be able to cook than have than have a situation where I can't save money for myself so I can at least, you know, take, you know, be able to enjoy my what's left of my young life as it is, assuming you can enjoy a young life when you have $34,000 in student debt gnawing at your ass. But I digress. But that's the thing. Well, I just mentioned earlier about company doctors. From my own personal experience, if you have private health insurance through your employer, if you're in a right to work state, they got you by the balls. You're not going to get help. If the company doctor that they're sending you to is shitty, you're not going to see any kind of help, any kind of corrective surgeries. The most he'll do is prescribe Tylenol and send your ass out with a boot in the, you know, with a Band-Aid. That's it. Hell, I had a fucking shoulder blade torn out of place, and he sent me back to the fucking line. And that's why I wound up having to quit, because after 2 months after my injury, you know, 2 months after I had seen this asshole, I wound up being in so much pain working on the line that I just had to quit. I just could not do it anymore. But that was 2 years ago. Now I have a new job. I have a new job now. I managed to go back and sue workman's comp. But that's after the fact. I shouldn't have had to quit my job and go back and sue them. I should have been able to get help because I had insurance through my employer. But I couldn't get help because they have a company doctor who will do their bidding. So, you know, conservatives, to the conservatives and libertarians out there, you know that those assholes, those libertarians and conservatives, you know those assholes know about how this shit works. You know that they know that that in right to work states, employers have ways around having to pay out anything to help you, and they don't give a shit if you run off or not. It just keeps the wages depressed, because if you can't build up seniority because you have to leave, or you get fired, if they try to find some other reason to fire you that isn't necessarily revolving around your medical problems, you're in a no-win situation. You're fucked. You are literally fucked. Because because they get to replace wages if you quit. Only way you're going to see a doctor, if you're in a right to work state and you get hurt, and they have a shitty company doctor, only way you're going to see a doctor is if you're in a really high supervisor position, and yeah, and you know, and the vast majority of us, the vast overwhelming majority of us, are just ground pounding grunts who just you know, who do the peddling, you know, the heavy lifting and stuff, who make the lower wages. So, you know, conservatives, the whole privatized healthcare system, we have socialism, you know, the whole you don't want a doctor coming between you and your and a bureaucrat coming between you and your doctor. Yeah, that's just it. In socialized medicine, you don't have a bureaucrat coming between you and your doctor. However, in a privatized healthcare system like the one we have, you have a company between you and your doctor, an entire administrative apparatus devoted to protecting the corporation that you're employed by coming between you and your doctor, stipulating how you can use your insurance to help you if you have insurance through the company. And usually that's the only insurance you can afford anyway. And, you know, hopefully, when when Obamacare's provisions kick in. You know, I'm again, I don't want to, you know, I don't really want to give Obama any credit where it's due, because ultimately he served the Heritage Foundation by passing this, though the conservatives really do love to obscure this fact as much as they can. That it's their chosen legislation that was passed, their thing that was passed. You wouldn't know it by the way they act, but I think a lot of it really is just a smokescreen by the right colluding with the third way DLC Rahm Emanuel Democrats, of which Barack Obama historically has been a part of. Collusion between two corporatist groups within the two parties. Again, my question to libertarians and conservatives, even though I don't really want to hear their fucking answers, because it's all coming from Ayn Rand or WorldDaily.net or some other bullshit source that vindicates them anyway, that pulls studies out of their asses. The real question is, the waiting period thing, that's shot down because we got triage here, and we have situations where under the privatized healthcare system you still have to wait. You still have waiting periods here that can be as long as 2 months while they're getting their shit together. And you don't have bureaucrats coming between you and your doctor in a socialized system, contrary to what conservatives and libertarians like to peddle, the lies they like to peddle through misinformation, their propaganda. But in the privatized system, you have the corporation coming between you through the use of a company doctor coming between you and being able to see an actual doctor at a hospital. So yeah, projection, vast amounts of projection. The right wing is literally guilty of everything on healthcare, of every bad thing on health, on that they've made up regarding universal healthcare, regarding socialized medicine. They're guilty of every single thing through the privatized healthcare system that they're you know, that they're attributing to socialized medicine. It's you know, and again, we already know how they get away with this. We already know how they disseminate these bullshit ideas to the masses. But I'm, you know, I don't. The thing is, I don't even consider it stupidity on the right wing's voting their base anymore. I don't think conservative voters are stupid. I just think they take part in the dishonesty themselves because they think someday they're going to get rich. They think they're going to be the ones having millions of dollars and being able to treat their workers like shit. And it's sad when such a when a significant minority within your country, not a small minority, but a significant minority, 30% prescribe to this. They prescribe openly to this and they defend it with their dying breath, just because they think they're going to win the lottery or something. Or something's going to happen that's going to make them rich. They defend this system. They deliberately go out of their way because they think someday they'll be one of the guys like the Koch brothers or Sheldon Adelson or Rupert Murdoch. They think they'll be the ones doing it. They think they'll be like the Coors family or the Olin family. Nobody's this fucking stupid. Nobody is this fucking stupid unless if they themselves are against socialized medicine for the same reason the plutocrats that peddle the information, the misinformation, and the propaganda with their money are against it. They think someday they're going to get rich, and they want to be able to hold the whip. They want to be able to mistreat people. They want to be able to dispose of human beings just as easily as their corporate masters, and they think they'll be rewarded for doing it. And I've seen plenty of people who, when they get money, they turn into the sorriest pieces of shit in the world. Especially here in the South. Again, as I said to one person in my comments section of one of my earlier videos, I've seen libertarianism, libertarian economic philosophies, the economic policies of Friedrich Hayek. I've seen those policies destroy my home state, destroy the lives of the people, of my people, in my lifetime. I've seen it. I've seen my mother's job when she used to work in the textile industries go overseas to Mexico. I've seen my old man, even though I hated the son of a bitch, I've seen him lose his job and get laid off from the foundry in Alexander City, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty seeing misery being perpetuated, planned misery, as Raldo Walsh would call it. Sustained planned misery. But again, to conservatives who say that healthcare is not a human right, and to libertarians who say the same thing while hiding behind property rights, all I have to say is you can't be a conservative or a libertarian and consider yourself a human being too. If you need it to survive, it's a right, because it's part of the right to life. And there's no way that you can separate the two of them and still be considered a moral person. I know that libertarians and conservatives, they've worked their asses off over the past 50 years trying to make it where you can be a selfish, self-serving, egotistical maniac and still be considered moral and socially acceptable. But negative behavior, no matter how much positive reinforcement you put behind it, it's always going to be negative behavior. Because man is every bit as much a social animal as he is an individual. We're neither. We're somewhere in between, and that's something that libertarians and conservatives have to live with. You can't polarize us. You can't socially engineer the country through this planned misery. And you can't deny things that have been recognized as human rights for over 100 years as the next step in preserving the first generation human rights. Again, this is Active Asshole on Roids. And again, as I've said before, I will try, after it's going to be a month before I can start posting videos on a regular basis again. And after that I'll try to be consistent. The key word being try, because even after that I'm still going to be working 60+ hours a week, and I'm going to be working 7 days a week, and I'm going to be worn out all the time. So I'm just glad I got lucky and got one of the few high-paying manufacturing jobs left in this region after the GOP outsourced everything. That's one thing they can't outsource yet: food processing, along with mining. Two things they can't outsource. And I'm gonna knock on wood just to make sure, just to be on the safe side on that one. Again, Active Asshole on Roids. Look for new videos sometime after August 15th. Peace out, everybody.